Hey, howdy, hey, Toas, Maturans, Borok, Rani. I think that's a big stuff, can't remember. And the rest of you, Paraka, all that stuff. Wolfman 47 Dash here. Now, some time ago, I did a video on Bionicle, specifically gameplay on the Matinee Online game, which is a fan favourite of the of the Bionicle franchise because it pretty much just covers the whole storyline of year one, and on top of that, I also added the Bowrock Wars, which is covered in year two and half of year three. And today I thought to talk a bit more about Barnacle, specifically specifically how I feel about the franchise, whether I think it should continue or not, and just a little bit of history that I didn't cover in my previous video. So Barnacle is Lego's first original IP. By which I mean it's got its own story, characters, settings, and so forth. Something which Lego have never done until that point, because previously they just released sets, not really got sort of story, characters, and whatever. With the exception of the licensed themes, which at the time would have been Star Wars and Harry Potter. And after it became apparent that the company would become bankrupt if they can't sort of save themselves, yes, a brand like Lego, as big as they are today, did actually have a point where they were considering bankruptcy. But anyway, enough about that. Barnacle is the result of several different concepts. The biggest one being buildable figures, which was a big deal for the company for sure, and would carry on into other themes later down the line, specifically the superhero, DC, Marvel, and other stuff as well. So I guess I should say what sets I own from Barnacle. I don't have a list, let's be frank, but I went through like a phase where I was buying as many of the Barnacle sets as I could, then had a break, and then bought some more, had a break, bought some more, and then after that it finished. The original one, not the reboot one, which I haven't touched at all. So I've got all the Torah Matter, most of the Borok, all the Torah Nuva, all of the Borok Kal, all the sets that were released to tie in with the first feature film, Bionicle Mask of Light, and also the Matoran sets that were released between the Borok Kal era and that. Got most, if not all, of the Torah Metru that were tied to the second film, Legends of Machinery, which I've also got on DVD, as well as Mask of Light. Got most of the sets from Web of Shadows. I didn't bother with the big play sets because I just didn't see the point of those. Why have big play sets when you can just build the characters and enjoy it like that? So that's year 1 to 5. Year 6, I didn't really buy many sets for because at the time I was still living with my parents in a village, and the closest toy shop we did have a toy shop in our village, but it wasn't like a big major one. To buy more Barnacle, we had to drive to other places to buy some, and I had some success, but ultimately it became apparent that I may not ever be able to complete my Bionicle collection completely, and even now most of them are deconstructed, or I have reconstructed them, but it's with my own way of doing it. Anyway, so that Paraka was released. I only bought the blue one, and also Jala, the former captain of the guard who became the Tour of Light in that particular era. Didn't really bother buying any of the Baraki, I think they're called, and the sets that were released the following year because I just couldn't find them. And then the year after that, I did go back to buying as many figures as I could. Ended up buying the newer Lua and Kapaka sets. And then back to not buying many Barnacle sets. I really wanted to buy the Tower of Life, but I just couldn't. And then the year where it was like the Victorians, the only set I actually bought, and it was like the sort of final tall buildable figure I bought, and I'm quite glad that I bought it when I could, was Matanui himself. Not the like the big grand one, the one that actually looks like the size of a Toa. And then in its final year, where it was like the Bionicle All Stars, I did buy like a few of those. And then that's it. Most of those are deconstructed now. Some are still on display, but again, as I said, put my own taste on it. And I've still got some of the masks that I've got for those as well. And I've really enjoyed the series. I think it's a great series that's got a great storyline, pretty simple, straightforward. It's one of those classic Lego good versus evil stories, which Lego have always been keen on doing. They're not do war sets or anything that's war related, apart from Star Wars, which is mainly good versus evil anyway. I didn't really think much of the reboots. In fact, I didn't really bother doing much with the reboot apart from seeing the Netflix series for that. And Bionicle being what it is, if they ever did bring it back, I would love for them to do a sort of animated series of that, either on Netflix or some other streaming service, and just basically just be the whole story all over again, but as a series. Because I think had Lego be more confident in having more feature films and other forms of media, I think it would have done really well as a TV show. The films, of course, did well themselves, even though the animation may not be as convincing as, say, some of the more bigger animated stuff out there, but they're still reasonably good. Definitely for the fans. So, do I think they should continue? Absolutely. If only because the last storyline in the OG Bionicle was meant to carry on for a couple more years before finally reaching its conclusion, but Lego decided to rush them, so they had to wrap it up. And yeah, and I would really have loved to have seen the big battle between Makuta and Matanui fight, because at the end of the story, Matanui's body is taken over by Makuta Pterodax, whereas everything that is and was Matanui is put into muscle, shot into space, and Matanui, as seen in the Legend Reborn Bionicle film, becomes his own figure who tries to find another giant robot to fight Makuta. So yeah, it's a great IP. People still talk about it today. There's websites and resources out there that sort of have the archive of everything that was to do with Bionicle. Whether you're able to buy any of the sets, I wish you good luck with that, because as with all things that are Lego, once they've been retired, they become collectible items, so the prices go skyrocket up, and all sorts of stuff happens there as well. So yeah, I'm just thinking if there's anything else I should say about Bionicle. I don't think there is. Everything that the story about is covered in my other Bionicle video where I did the game. And if you do ever get a chance to please check out the feature films that were released. There's 4 of them. And if you do have a lot of money to spend, do you spend your money on Bionicle? There's lots of great sets out there. Some many people own and have fond memories of. They are much better looking than the sort of revivals, the sort of legacy sets of that Lego have done recently, particularly with the 100 years. No, not 100 years. The 90 years set, where you can build mini scale versions of their iconic sets. There is a Tahu one, Tahu being the Tower of Fire, which does look a bit odd. And then there was like another promotional one that was released quite recently, which looked a bit strange as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share wide, comment below, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Everyone's got a duty, everyone I think has a unity, and we all have our own different destinies. Just, it's up to you what those are. Just try and figure them out for themselves. And yeah, that's the motto of Bionicle, by the way, in case you're wondering. Anyway, see you in the next one. Peace to you all.
Yo, Baraka. Yo, Baraka. The gang on the loose, nothing you can do. The beast on the move, bully coming through. Trigger, tracer, drifter coming through. Add the snake that makes Baraka crew. Yo, Baraka.